If you told me a year ago that I would have a style that I'm 100% obsessed with and a wardrobe that I absolutely love, I would not believe you. But here's exactly how I made it happen in 2024. My name is Sabrina and I'm a fashion enthusiast, so if you're a fashion enthusiast as well, I think you're gonna like it here. Around this time of year, I reflect heavily on the past year, kind of going through my goals and aspirations, things that maybe I achieved and that I did not achieve. And one thing that I'm really happy that I achieved this year is really building my ideal wardrobe and really building upon my personal style. Yes, there is so much more that I want to achieve, but I'm honestly very happy and fulfilled with the personal style that I've at least built this year. So with that being said, let's get into exactly how I built my ideal personal style in 2024, and hopefully this will help you build yours as well. The first step is having a very clear understanding of what you do and you do not like. I can ask you right now, what are some things that you love about fashion? What are some things that you love wearing? And I'm sure you can probably pick one or two things that you love wearing and that you've probably always loved wearing. For me, for example, I have always loved blazers, even from a very young age. I remember wearing a blazer to high school one time and everyone commenting, oh wow, you look so old, you know, so adult-like. And for me, I did not care because I absolutely loved blazers. So those are one of the things that I absolutely love wearing. And that is a key giveaway of something that you were going to take and you were going to incorporate within your personal style. That piece is you. It doesn't necessarily need to be a lot of things, but a few key pieces will definitely make it easier when you're trying to build your personal style. Now, if you don't know what you like, no fear. Maybe start with inspirational photos. See if you find some photos and there's something about a photo that your heart pulls a little bit. Maybe let's just say, for example, out of 50 photos, 10 of those photos are wearing pumps and you just like pumps. Well, there you go. Okay, pumps are clearly for you. That was probably a not so great example, but of all the photos that you pulled, there's definitely going to be some similarities between majority of them, if not most of them. For me personally, when I save a bunch of photos on Pinterest, for example, I will go through them and realize, wow, these are all very similar. I wonder why I gravitate towards them. I think the first step is really having a clear understanding of the things that you do and you really don't like. Okay, the things that you really don't like, don't even bother. You should be wearing the clothes should not be wearing you. You should feel empowered wearing those clothes. So make sure that it's something that you love. The second biggest tip that I can provide you is prioritizing fit and classics over trendy pieces. Over the past, I want to say 2 years, I became a lot less invested in trendy pieces and more invested in my classic pieces. Because at the end of the day, I know my classic pieces are there to stay and I know will last me far longer than the trendy pieces. And I think because I dedicate so much time to researching fashion and I love fashion, I can definitely understand and pick up when a trend is not going to last. It's almost like I don't even want to bother when it comes to micro trends because I just know they're not going to last. Unless I absolutely love a trend, I have no shame in participating in a trend, and neither should you, because if you love it, why not go for it? You know, have a little fun with fashion. But when it comes to participating in trends just because you feel the need, you have to maybe, then I think it's a no-go. Again, I want to preface, if you love it, go for it, okay? By all means. Looking back, especially maybe more in my university days, I feel like I was so reliant on trends and I feel like I didn't really have anything that I could call my own. I look at my personal style now and I know exactly what is for me, what is not for me. Most of the time, at least. I think when it comes to experimentation, sometimes I can get a little bit scared and worried, which is totally normal. I'll get into that in a little bit. But when it comes to building your personal style, I think you should be able to look at something and go, yes, no, that's not for me. That maybe is. My previous self didn't have a clue. As long as it was trendy, it was in my wardrobe. But if you prioritize classics over trends, the classics will never do you wrong. You will always have something to wear. I think of building your personal style like building blocks. So you first build your foundation of basics, and then you can kind of go towards the more fun stuff, the more statement-y pieces. Whereas if you were to start with the more fun statement-y pieces, but you don't have any classics, you would run out of things to wear consistently. Because your fun statement pieces are not the pieces that you're going to wear on a daily basis, but your classic basic pieces are. A tip that's really helped me is curating a color palette that really works for myself. For me personally, I feel the most confident in neutral colors except pink. You know, I love the color pink. Okay, pink to me is a neutral. But besides that, I really feel my best when I'm wearing neutral colors as opposed to the bright, colorful colors. For me personally, I just find that neutrals I know can go with everything in my closet. For me, building a color palette consisted of 3 things. 1 that I loved, 2 that I know would fit with other colors in that palette, and 3 that I felt the most confident wearing. Let's say, for example, I'm wearing taupe. I know that goes with white, my dark blue jeans, and black. That's already 3 colors that I can just think of on the top of my head that taupe goes with. Now, this does not mean that you need to stick solely within your 5 color palette or however many colors you want. But I think having a color palette will save you from making purchases that are completely outside of your normal personal style and what you enjoy. For me, having a color palette is a way for me to stick with what I know and what I feel great in. For events and here and there, I'm definitely going to venture out into more color things if I want to. But for more day-to-day pieces, I know that if I stick with my color palette, I know that I will not not regret that purchase later on, and I know that I'll get my most use out of that purchase. The next tip is building on the basics and then buying the fun statement pieces. So something that I briefly talked about before. If you were only going to buy fun statementy pieces and you don't buy any basics at all, you are only going to rely on wearing fun statement pieces, which honestly, you know, sounds fun. But when you want to go to the grocery store or you want to do something very casual, all you have in your wardrobe are the very fun statement pieces, which if you were a very fun statementy kind of dresser, honestly don't even listen to this, okay? Just go towards the very fun statementy outfits that you love. But I think for the average person, building a wardrobe off your basics, things that you wear every single day, is far more important than building on the fun statement going out pieces. It's the same thing that I was mentioning earlier of the foundation blocks. You want to build on the classics and then you want to build on the more statement fun pieces. It's almost like levels, or levels in a game, if you will. And I also think this is a great way to build on your personal style, because your personal style shouldn't just be about the boring classic pieces, or maybe that's you and that's totally okay. But for me, I love a good statement fun piece that I can wear on a night out. And I think in 2025, that is something that I'm going to really try to do, is buy more statementy pieces that are true to my personal style. Develop a formula. When in doubt, I wear X, Y, Z. My go-to formula: blazer, jeans, shirt. When in doubt, I go for that formula. Having a formula that you could easily pull from your wardrobe that you feel most confident in is life-saving, especially when you don't know what to wear. Having a formula, I feel like, never fails me, no matter what. Experiment. If you don't know what you do and you do not like, then go out and try and find what you do and you do not like. Make it almost like a habit of trying new things. I know it's probably easier said than done, but if you don't try, and this goes with life in general, you'll never know. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's true. If you are going outside of your comfort zone and you're wearing things that you honestly do not feel comfortable in, then take that as a sign. Stepping out of your comfort zone should feel uncomfortable, but when it comes to clothing that you just get, you know, just an utter ick, just something that you know does not fit you, does not align with your personal style, then probably take that as a sign. I don't even know how to describe it, but when I'm wearing something that's very outside of my comfort zone, I have an inkling that, okay, this is maybe outside of my comfort zone, but I feel good, versus something that's very outside of my comfort zone and I just feel like I want to dig myself into a cave and never be seen ever again. There is a difference here. And I think understanding what that difference is will save you from purchasing things that do not align with your personal style whatsoever. And this doesn't mean that you have to buy something to test it out. You can go into store, try on a lot of things, take photos. You can go back home, analyze, and ponder on how those pieces made you feel. And if they made you feel good, great. If they made you feel like crap, don't buy them. When it comes to experimenting, at the end of the day, you need to trust your gut. If your gut is absolutely saying no, no, no bueno, then that piece is probably not for you. But if you're wearing something that's out of your comfort zone, but your gut is saying, oh, you know, I kind of like this, then maybe you should follow that and go wear that again. Okay, now the last tip is something that I religiously follow, and that is be picky. Be so picky. There's nothing wrong with being picky except for a picky eater. Okay, we don't like picky eaters. But when it comes to buying things for your wardrobe or things that you're gonna have in your wardrobe for years to come, it is good to be selective and it is good to be picky, especially when it comes to composition. You wanna make sure that the composition is one gonna last you. Be picky when it comes to fit, and be especially picky with how it makes you feel. Composition, fit, and feeling. If you're not picky on these, then likely it's going to be a purchase that you're going to end up regretting. In my previous video, I did my best purchases of 2024, and I really only did best because I honestly could not think of a worse purchase. I was very selective when it comes to my purchasing in 2024, and I think that's really how I only made best purchases. If you are very selective with your purchasing, you are practically forcing yourself to only have a wardrobe that you love. You are forcing yourself to make sure that this wardrobe fits your needs perfectly in the way that you want it to. Be so picky that it forces you to only have pieces that you love. Again, you are wearing the clothes are not wearing you. So be so picky, or maybe selective is probably the better word. So those are all the tips that I followed religiously to create the wardrobe that I have now, and a wardrobe that I'm very happy with. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, I would love if you would like and subscribe. It does mean the absolute most to me. As always, I hope you have the utmost fabulous day. Bye guys.